Hello everyone, I'm Yazan Ibrahim, or as some of you might know me, Yazan Abu Ghosh. Today we're going to dive into a fascinating and essential topic, Fraud Examiner's Section 4, Fraud Prevention and Deterrence, 4.3, Corporate Governance Overview, Decoding Corporate Governance, Power, Responsibility, and Trust in Business. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a fascinating exploration of corporate governance, a topic that might sound dry at first, but trust me, it's the backbone of every successful business and a key to understanding how power, responsibility, and trust shape the corporate world. Today, we're embarking on a 40-minute journey to unpack what corporate governance really means, who's involved, and why it matters to everyone from shareholders to employees to society at large. So settle in, maybe grab a notebook, and let's dive into this intricate dance of decision making and accountability that keeps companies on the right path or sometimes veers them into chaos. Let's kick things off with the big picture. Corporate governance is essentially the set of rules, practices, and processes that guide how a company is directed and controlled. Think of it as the invisible framework holding up a skyscraper, ensuring every floor, every beam aligns to keep the structure standing tall. It's not just about the board of directors, though they've historically been the focus. Today, it encompasses everyone with a stake in the business management, shareholders, and even broader societal interests. This framework balances rights and responsibilities, making sure that while profits are pursued, ethics and fairness aren't left behind. Now, let's meet the key players in this corporate arena, starting with the board of directors. Picture a group of seasoned strategists gathered around a polished conference table, their decisions echoing through every level of the organization. The board acts as the crucial link between the shareholders, who own the company, and the management, who run its day-to-day operations. They're composed of two types of members: inside directors, often major shareholders or executives tied directly to the company, and outside directors, independent voices brought in to offer unbiased perspectives. Their mission? Oversee business strategy, scrutinize management decisions, safeguard the company's resources, and ensure that shareholder interests align with the organization's long-term goals. It's a role of immense power and responsibility, like being the guardians of a kingdom's treasury. But not all boards are built the same way. And this brings us to the fascinating topic of board structures. In some parts of the world, like the United States, you'll find a one-tier system. Here, a single board blends executive and non-executive directors, handling everything from crafting overarching policies to ensuring compliance with laws. It's a unified approach, like a single captain steering a ship through both calm and stormy waters. Contrast that with the two-tier system common in Europe and parts of Asia. In this setup, there's an executive or management board led by the CEO, laser focused on daily operations. Think of them as the engine room crew keeping the ship moving. Above them sits a supervisory board made up of independent directors who monitor and guide policy execution, acting as the lookout in the crow's nest, scanning for risks and ensuring the course is true. Each structure has its strengths, shaping how oversight and action intertwine. How do these directors even get to the table? That's where board selection comes in. Shareholders, the true owners of the corporation, elect directors, often choosing from nominees put forward by the board itself or a dedicated nominating committee. The key here is independence, selecting candidates free from conflicts of interest to ensure decisions genuinely reflect shareholder goals, not personal agendas. It's like choosing judges for a competition. You want impartial arbiters who prioritize fairness over favoritism. A critical debate in board dynamics is the role of the CEO as chairman, often called CEO duality. When one person wears both hats, power is centralized. They're both the visionary leader and the overseer of the board. It can streamline decisions, but it's a double-edged sword. Picture a conductor also playing the lead violin. Their dual role might create harmony, but it risks drowning out other voices, leading to conflicts of interest. Separating these roles, as many governance experts advocate, builds stronger accountability. It's like having a separate referee on the field, ensuring the game stays fair and no single player dominates unchecked. To dive deeper into specific oversight tasks, boards often form subcommittees, each with a laser focus on critical areas. Let's explore these one by one, starting with the audit committee. This group is the financial watchdog, ensuring the integrity of the company's financial statements. They oversee internal controls, manage fraud risks, drawing on principles from the ACFE's teachings on fraud prevention, and handle whistleblower policies to protect those who speak out. They're also tasked with compliance, making sure the company adheres to laws and ethical standards. Best practices like those from the Treadway Commission emphasize that audit committees must be independent, have a clear written charter, access adequate resources, and remain vigilant. Think of them as the detectives of the corporate world, combing through every detail to uncover hidden discrepancies. Next up is the Compensation Committee. Their job is to set pay and benefits for executives and directors, ensuring decisions are made independently from the very people whose salaries they're determining. Often composed of directors with HR expertise, they might consult outside experts to keep things fair. It's akin to setting the prize money for a race without letting the runners influence the amount. Fairness is paramount to avoid self-serving decisions. Then we have the nominating committee, the talent scouts of the board. They identify and evaluate potential board members, ensuring candidates are independent and a good fit for the company's needs. They also review current directors' performance and address shareholder concerns about board composition. Their role is crucial in maintaining a balanced, effective board, much like assembling a team where every player brings a unique strength to the game. Shifting focus from the board, let's talk about management, the hands-on leaders driving the company forward. Led by the CEO, alongside senior executives like the CFO and COO, management executes the strategic goals set by the board. They manage daily operations, oversee employees, allocate resources, and maintain internal controls to keep everything running smoothly. Beyond logistics, they set the ethical tone of the organization, shaping its culture. Picture them as the orchestra conductors, ensuring every section plays in harmony while following the board's sheet music. Their role in governance isn't just operational, it's about embedding values and accountability into every decision. Now let's turn to the shareholders, the true owners of the corporation. Their primary concern is a return on their investment, but their role in governance goes far beyond just collecting dividends. They attend meetings, vote on critical issues, elect board members, and hold them accountable for performance. They're expected to stay informed about the company's activities, ensuring their voices shape its direction. Think of shareholders as the audience at a theater, not just watching the performance, but having the power to choose the cast and influence the script through their feedback and votes. Zooming out, let's reflect on how these players interact within the broader governance framework. The board represents shareholders while supervising management, ensuring strategies align with long-term goals. Management executes those strategies, maintaining ethical standards under board oversight. Shareholders, in turn, actively engage by electing competent directors and voting on major policies. It's a delicate balance of power, like a three-way tug of war, where each side must pull just hard enough to keep the system stable. A key aspect of this balance is the separation of CEO and chairman roles, which we touched on earlier. When these roles are combined, it can streamline leadership but risks concentrating too much power in one person, potentially sidelining the board's oversight. Separating them, as best practices suggest, strengthens checks and balances, ensuring no single individual can steer the ship without scrutiny. It's a principle echoed in governance guidelines worldwide, aiming for transparency and accountability. Let's delve into the specific responsibilities of board committees once more, ensuring we cover their best practices distinctly. For the audit committee, regular engagement with auditors is vital. They must maintain independence and transparency to manage fraud risks effectively. Insights drawn from ACFE resources highlight how crucial this is in preventing financial misconduct. The Compensation Committee, meanwhile, must operate free from management influence, often engaging independent consultants to benchmark pay against industry standards. The Nominating Committee's best practice is a rigorous, objective selection process, ensuring the board remains diverse and independent, reflecting shareholder interest over personal ties. Beyond these core players and structures, corporate governance is guided by a wealth of international frameworks and standards. Take the G20 OECD Principles of Corporate Governance, a foundational, non-binding framework that sets global benchmarks for ethical and effective governance. Then there's ISO 37000-2021, published by the International Organization for Standardization, offering practical guidance for organizations of all sizes to govern responsibly and sustainably. Other non-binding guidelines like the International Corporate Governance Network's principles or the Business Roundtable's recommendations further enrich the landscape, providing best practices for transparency and accountability. ISO 37000 in particular outlines key themes that bring governance to life. It starts with purpose, defining why the organization exists and what it aims to achieve. Then there's the value model, a framework for creating value to fulfill that purpose. Strategy must align with this framework, while oversight ensures performance and compliance meet expectations. Accountability means proper delegation and adherence to rules, and stakeholder engagement ensures the company meets broader expectations responsibly. Leadership under this standard is about fostering ethics and effectiveness, using data for informed decisions, governing risks to protect the organization's mission, and embracing social responsibility transparently. Finally, it emphasizes viability and performance over time, ensuring sustainability for future generations. These themes weave together a holistic view of governance as not just a corporate duty but a societal commitment. Governance requirements also vary by country, shaped by local laws and stock exchange rules. In the United States, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, or SOX, sets a strict regulatory framework for public companies born from major financial scandals to enforce accountability. Similar laws exist in Japan, Canada, and Turkey, while stock exchanges like the NYSE in the US, the UK Corporate Governance Code, or South Africa's King Code provide additional guidelines. Resources like the European Corporate Governance Institute's Index or the OECD's 2023 Factbook offer a window into these diverse frameworks across 49 jurisdictions, showing how governance adapts to cultural and legal context. Let's explore shareholder rights and responsibilities in detail, as they're a cornerstone of governance. Shareholders hold core rights: owning, buying, selling, and transferring shares, participating in profits, enjoying limited liability, accessing company information, and influencing decisions through voting at meetings. Their role differs from management's. While shareholders focus on big picture decisions like board elections or mergers, management and the board handle daily operations and strategy given the practical limits of direct shareholder involvement. Legal protections are crucial here, split into ex ante rights, like preemptive approvals to prevent issues, and ex post rights, offering remedies when violations occur. Minority shareholders, often at risk of being sidelined, are protected through mechanisms like derivative lawsuits to hold boards accountable, balanced by safeguards like the business judgment rule to prevent frivolous litigation. Institutional investors and intermediaries add another layer. These large players, like pension funds, must disclose their voting and governance policies transparently, often guided by stewardship codes. Their engagement isn't passive, it involves direct dialogue and active voting to shape company direction. Stock markets play a supporting role, ensuring fair price discovery and banning practices like insider trading, while transparent cross-listing standards maintain trust. However, intermediaries in the investment chain can dilute investor influence, making disclosure transparency vital for accountability. Transparency itself is a governance pillar encompassing disclosure across material areas: financial performance, ownership structure, board composition, executive pay, related party transactions, risk factors, and compliance. This information, aligned with international accounting standards, influences investor decisions by revealing future cash flows and risks. Regular reporting, annual, semi-annual, or ad hoc during major events, attracts capital and ensures market integrity, though companies must avoid excessive disclosures that could harm competitive edges. Strong practices also link financial and sustainability data, reflecting a modern governance focus. Board responsibilities tie this together. Directors must act informed, in good faith, and with diligence, prioritizing the company and shareholders' best interests while treating all shareholders fairly. Their functions span corporate strategy, risk management, executive oversight, safeguarding financial systems, ensuring accurate reporting, and managing conflicts through independent committees. Independence is non-negotiable. Boards need objective judgment, supported by committees for audit, remuneration, and risk, with periodic evaluations to maintain effectiveness and diversity. Sustainability and resilience are increasingly central to governance. Boards must weave sustainability risks like climate change or human capital issues into strategy, risk management, and disclosure. These disclosures need to be consistent, comparable, and actionable for investors, linking goals like net zero targets to clear metrics. Collaboration with stakeholders, from employees to communities, balances shareholder returns with broader corporate sustainability goals. Legislators also play a role, guiding companies with policies on environmental standards or ESG strategies aligning with national and global sustainability aims. As we near the end of this journey, let's distill the core principles of corporate governance. It's about shareholder focus, ensuring rights to vote, profit, and legal protections, alongside active participation. It's about institutional accountability, with transparent engagement and conflict management. Transparency through timely, reliable disclosures attracts capital and strengthens trust. Board integrity means strategic, ethical leadership with independence and fairness. And sustainability ensures boards address material risks, disclose progress, and align with global standards for economic and environmental health. What a ride it's been. Corporate governance isn't just a set of rules, it's a living system of power, responsibility, and trust that shapes how businesses impact our world. Whether you're studying for an exam, leading a company, or simply curious, understanding these dynamics equips you to navigate or even influence this landscape. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Let's keep the conversation alive, share your thoughts or questions, and let's continue exploring how governance builds better businesses and societies together. Thank you for watching, and as always, continue learning, stay curious, and we'll see you next video.